Hello, I'm your host, Akosa, and this is the Fastbreak Show. With me, I have today my co-host, DeAndre Wilson.
Thank you, Akosa. First off, let's start with the Golden State Warriors. They're on a hot streak right now, winning 13 straight, and they're 19-2 for the season. Steve Kerr is a brand new coach. He's a rookie coach, and he's really elevating his team to one of the top teams in the Western Conference.
Definitely. Steve Kerr has come in and done a terrific job so far. Initially, everyone thought that Mark Jackson was the guy for the program, and everyone thought that this would be a downgrade with hiring Steve Kerr, but he has got them playing defense first, and defense has become their MO. Everyone knows that the Golden State Warriors can pour in a lot of points, but now they're playing defense. It makes them a very scary team and a very scary contender for the NBA championship.
You bring up a good point, Akosa. This team right here had struggles with defense in the past season. In this offseason, they turned it around with Klay Thompson playing FIBA basketball and Stephen Curry. I think you have to highlight him first, being that guy to step up his game, elevate his game to another level. Stephen Curry always has struggles with defense, trying to guard a Chris Paul or a Tony Parker. So many quick guards and so many hard, it's a guard-heavy type of league with Russell Westbrook as well. And he just kind of just took it up to another level. He's actually up there leading in steals for the NBA right now. And you already know he's a dynamic offensive player. He can shoot, he can dribble, he can pass, get inside the lane, and create for his players. But just adding his defensive, structure to his game, oh man, he's becoming one of the top players.
Stephen Curry has proven to be a very lethal player. Obviously, passing is one of his better skills that may go under the radar. He's getting his teammates open. He's shaking and baking, losing his defenders. The defense is having a tough time guarding the Golden State Warriors. Klay Thompson is playing up to par. I think he's up there in the leading scorers in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
So just to change gears a little bit, the Toronto Raptors on the east side of things are doing well. They are 13-6 right now. Kyle Lowry's playing out of his mind. He's a leader on that team, and those guys are playing terrific. What do you think?
Bringing up the Toronto Raptors, this is the most consistent team in the Eastern Conference right now. They're just such a dynamic team, adding James Johnson and Lou Williams in the offseason, and that has been a huge factor for their bench and that scoring coming off. And even with DeMar DeRozan, he has a torn ligament right now, and it's taken them out a couple of games, their star player, but still, this team is just winning games. And Kyle Lowry is becoming one of those top guards in the league. He's not named as one of the top 5, but he's still a dynamic player that just goes out and just does work.
Lou Williams is one of my favorites. He's an unsung hero. He's a solid player for a solid team. He's a piece that team is missing, honestly, and he's also a leader. He's coming off of an ACL injury 2 years ago prior to his previous team, the Atlanta Hawks, and now they're doing much better with the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, and we're talking about the Toronto Raptors, but you can't forget about the Washington Wizards and the Cleveland Cavaliers, two teams that are going to be at the top of the East.
And the Chicago Bulls.
I did forget about the Chicago Bulls and Derrick Rose. How do you think he's playing this season, coming off of 2 ACL injuries?
Honestly, I hope that Derrick Rose is Mr. MVP again and becomes MVP for him. A couple nights ago, he had his first 30-point game in 2 years, so hopefully we'll see more of that Derrick Rose instead of Derrick Rose in the suit.
Yeah, that is true. And one thing you have to kind of commend the Chicago Bulls on is bringing in Pau Gasol this year. He's averaging 18 points and 10-plus rebounds, and that has been huge for their team with Joakim Noah having a kind of knee issues right now, but just that dynamic 4. He can pass, he can rebound. He just adds so many different dynamics to the game and helps them offensively when they're just a defensive team. And, Jimmy Butler, he's becoming one of those top guards in the league, kind of, compared to a Klay Thompson. Not scoring ability, but he's a lockdown defender.
Definitely. I wouldn't want that guy to guard me. I will say, too, that the Washington Wizards, the maturation of John Wall and Bradley Beal and those guys has really been impressive. Their coach, Randy Whitman, has really got those guys aggressive and ready to play and compete with the rest of the NBA. With the veteran leadership of Paul Pierce, that has really brought that team up. So I'm just excited to see the Washington Wizards finally start to become a playoff contending team. So it's a very exciting time.
I can't believe you brought up Paul Pierce. He's an old kid.
You don't like Paul Pierce?
He's all right. I mean, he didn't have a huge season last year for the Brooklyn Nets when they were considered the top team in the Eastern Conference when they had Deron Williams, Joe Johnson, Brook Lopez.
He's still the truth.
All right, I guess you could say he's still the truth. But I really say it's John Wall and Bradley Beal. Those two guys are the young calibers of that team, and they're bringing this type of team to the next level, and they're really making them playoff ready, and they're somebody you have to worry about in the playoffs. just switching over to Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James and this new cast of talent, how do you kind of like, see them this season? They're struggling early, but do you see them as, that top team that we all expect them to be?
Well, we'll see because this is a new big three. Last year we had Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Chris Bosh, experienced playoff players, and now we have LeBron James, Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving. The two other co-stars haven't had any playoff experience, so we'll see. But that's all the time we have today, and thanks for joining us on the Fast Break Show. I'm Akosa.
And I'm DeAndre Wilson.